Yeah?
Yep. We're live.
Okay.
And
James, come here, baby.
Hi, everybody. Jeff Dunham here, along with Jack Dunham, who we started the video and he decided he wanted to be right here. Right, Jack? Yeah. Can you say hi? No, you can't. Anyway, we're doing something kind of fun today. For those of you who followed some of my videos, that you know that you've seen Frankenstein or Boris Karloff here in the background. And this is one of the favorite things that I have in my house. And he was created by artist Mike Hill a few years ago. And I mean, you don't get any better than this. It's basically Boris Karloff sitting in a barber chair from the movie Frankenstein when he was getting makeup done by makeup artist Mike Pierce.
Jack Pierce.
Jack Pierce, sorry. And by Jack Pierce. And this makes perfect sense because you have the makeup and you have the bare chest and you have the makeup on the face. And so he's just enjoying a cup of tea, sitting in the barber chair backstage. It was taken from a real life photo back then that Mike did it. And Mike Hill happens to be here today. Mike, come in and say hi. Mike, good to see you. Thanks a lot. Mike, how are you? Good to see you. Oh, Jack dropped his cup. Hold on. Thank you very much. So, Mike, you have been doing this. You've been sculpting basically your entire life, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Since I wasn't much older than Jack, actually.
Is that right?
Yeah, about 4 years old.
And it's always been horror.
Yeah, horror, and maybe a few superheroes thrown in there for good luck. You know?
Right.
Yeah. Well, mainly King Kong, Frankenstein, the Wolfman, those guys.
And Monster Palooza is one of those things that you are a major hero at, right?
That's a nice way of putting it, but it's okay. I got some fans there, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So when I saw this piece, I thought this is, Frankenstein's been my favorite monster since the beginning, since I was a little kid. And when I saw it, in fact, when I was in junior high, I don't know if I ever told you this, I actually made a Frankenstein ventriloquist dummy.
Right.
And it was 6.5, 7 feet tall, and it was horrible, but it worked.
Right.
Yeah. And so anyway, I've been a fan of Frankenstein for all those years, and then when you did this, I just thought it was so charming and so magical because of what you made him doing. It wasn't just a Frankenstein monster standing there scary. It's had so much personality and so much life.
Yeah, I think that was. I mean, you hit the nail on the head right there. The whole point was to show that this rather quaint, quiet-spoken Englishman who actually played the monster. He wasn't picked because of his physicality. Karloff was picked mainly because of his face and his brooding features and his melancholy looks. James Ware really liked that. So I thought to show, in the transition from man to monster, drinking, the quintessential English cup of tea.
Right.
I think that was the idea behind the piece.
Sorry for all the noise. We have two little kids running around here who decided to
That's okay.
their own noise.
They're alive.
So this is obviously my family room, and people go, "What?" Because there's a video that I show now where I have. Can we turn that off? Really great. We can turn it off. There's a switch on the side. Thanks. Anyway, so there's a part of my act when I talk about, I show a video of Jack in here dancing, and in the background, I'd forgotten that this guy was in the background.
Right.
And I showed the video, put it on Facebook. I thought everybody think it was so cute, and 80% of the comments were not how cute. They were, what the hell do you have in your house? And Boris was in the background.
Oh, right, there you go.
But then, Mike, you came to me and you said you had something else to add to the collection.
I did. I thought that your monster needed a mate, as the video poster said. So what we came up with was
back up a little bit.
Was Elsa,
the bride,
the bride of Frankenstein. Yeah.
Hey, baby, you want to bring me James?
Just trying to turn the table back on.
Sorry, Mike. We thought this was a great idea. It was the perfect time of day where the boys were well behaved, and they're not being well behaved.
I had two little boys of my own one time. They're big boys now, but these are little boys.
All right. Well, I'm gonna hold James. Yeah. Now we got James. Now Jack is over there making a drink for himself at the bar. It's fine. If you hear a crash, that was something valuable. All right. So. And you and I discussed this, the pose, a lot. And because Boris was sitting here like this, drinking tea, we thought that it would. I'd like to see something else that was not on camera, something off stage. So what did you end up with?
Well, yeah, I was actually really glad because originally, like you said, you wanted a Bride of Frankenstein. We talked about, which I've done several times, but it was actually you who said, "Hey, what about having a behind the scenes?" Which immediately, sent me into high up to it because it's a new thing to do, to have Elsa behind the scenes. And there actually is shots of her behind the scenes doing a pose very reminiscent of this. She actually never did her own makeup. Jack Pierce did it.
Right.
So they were really publicity stills.
So those pictures were fake.
They
Of
just,
her
they
doing
just
her own
posed,
makeup.
yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, one of them you do see Jack leaning in.
Oh.
He was very protective of his work. And
So he did all the makeup, but they wanted to make it look like the woman was doing her own makeup.
Exactly, yeah.
Wow.
So we did this piece, which we call Elsa Bride to Be, which is, again, it's Elsa behind the scenes, and as you can see, we can see the pancake makeup she's wearing and the eyeliner that's a bit weathered throughout the day. But the difference between this and the past Bride of Frankenstein I've done is they were the Bride of Frankenstein, whereas this is Elsa Lanchester making the Suffolk. So there's a more softness to it than a monster like.
See, that's what I love about this, because I have the other head that you made for me before you did this guy, and it was just basically Frankenstein monster.
That's right,
And
yes.
it looked like a real live monster. Whereas this looks like a guy with makeup on.
That's right.
So you did the same thing. So you can see the makeup, of course, the naked the chest that doesn't have makeup on. But it really does look like it's a completely different paint job, a different texture. It looks like makeup. And you did the same thing with her, where if you get close up, you can see underneath there's actually what would be real eyebrows, but then the makeup is painted over them.
Yeah, and kind of sponged on the actual, white pallor, so it looks a little bit smudged, a little bit in between the scenes. And when I actually painted it, as I showed you earlier, I painted it to look exactly like a real flesh under there,
Right.
and then literally added the makeup like Jack Pierce would have done,
Right.
including this scar that she has running around her face here.
Right.
Jack put that on with wax, so I kind of put that on after the fact. It's not part of the actual sculpture.
Right.
It's to show it as an additive later, just to get it as close as we can to what Jack Pierce might have done back in the day.
Right. And speaking of Jack, my
Yeah.
little Jack is back here. Do you want to show this, Matt? He's back here reorganizing very valuable mugs from parts of the world. Jack, you're making noise, buddy. Want to say hi? No. He's like,
What's up, dude? Oh, he's
so,
putting-
Mike, I promise you, because of these guys, this video is going to get a lot more views. than
Okay.
If it was just you and me, people go, no one cares. But you put little babies in it, it's going to get a lot more. Especially when James grabs the mirror and smashes it.
Oh, no. That's an actual 1920s mirror. So
Is it really?
yeah, I mean, search high and low to get something that was, because the one in the publicity still is kind of a dirty old mirror.
Right.
But we wanted something that was very feminine and very graceful to a vintage. Yeah, so it's 1920s mirror.
And the gloves are dirtied up a little bit and the whole
Yeah,
thing.
yeah. So she's been through the rigmarole.
Right.
I was actually assisted on this piece by my assistant Megan. We've molded Megan's body head to toe, her hands, etc. And Maggie did the hair and stuff just so that credit where credit's due. Yeah,
Beautiful.
it was a beautiful piece to do. It was so exciting, and you actually came up with the idea to put it behind the scenes, which elevated it for me to.
Well, it's great. And then I had a buddy of mine build this, which was, Sweetie, do we have that photograph? What happened to
Oh,
magazines
they're
and stuff?
over right over there.
If we can get that. I'd
Not
like
that
to
you
show
called me
the
Sweetie.
The real life. Yeah, you're not Sweetie. Matt is not Sweetie. But here's what I love, that this is one of the photos you used, right, Mike?
Yes.
So there's Boris getting the makeup. Jack Pierce is on the left. And who's the guy on the right?
No one has an idea.
No one knows.
Wow.
It's so sad. But it's the same barber chair. It's the whole deal. And the costume you got just right. And you said everything in here, all his costume was vintage. The only
Yes.
thing that wasn't vintage, the chair is vintage. The only thing that's not vintage is the cup, is what you told me.
But there's no date on the cup, so we never know.
Right.
Yeah.
So
it looked quaintly English, so that's what we went with.
Got it.
You know? And even the tea in there's silicone as well, which is
Right.
It looks like tea, which is a nice effect.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just beautiful. Just beautiful. And that chair weighs a freaking ton.
Yes, that was the actual same style chair that Jack Pierce used exactly.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It looks exactly like it. It's the
Yeah.
exact same chair.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. I love the freckles on the body, and it's just amazing.
Well, Boris Karloff was extremely dark skinned, what people don't know. You know,
Oh, he was?
from his Indian heritage, yeah.
Oh.
And he, they lined him up for movies because he was so dark. I mean, there's some school photographs
Oh.
of him which you wouldn't even recognize him.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know, I do, I build my own characters, the dummies, and so I sculpt a little bit. Obviously, nothing lifelike. They're all caricatures and characters. And so, but I do, you have to study a face, and you really have to, when you know where the muscles are, you know what's supposed to go where, you come up with a much more realistic face. And with that in mind, I got to tell you, how long did you study nipples? Because that's really impressive nipples right there.
I have a secret, Jeff. It's called a mirror.
Oh, no. Those are your nipples. Oh, that's a piece of information I did not need. Well, you got very nice areolas as well.
Oh yeah. And that sculpture was actually a whole sculpture, that body, yeah.
Oh, really? You sculpted that entire
Yeah.
thing? Wow.
Yes.
That is amazing.
Because I had to make it. I could have molded a person, but it wouldn't have had the attributes that Caliph had.
Yeah, you mean you
know,
could have taken a
his
mold.
ribs,
you
his
could have taken a mold of a person, but it was better to free sculpt it. And,
free sculpted, so it looked exactly as much like his body as I could get.
Wow.
You know, same folds. Same.
Fantastic. Oh, here's another thing: the cover of the magazine. So this is Jack Pierce putting makeup on Boris Karloff when he was the Mummy. Well, what's amazing about this is Jack Pierce on the left. This isn't a photograph of the real guy. That's also one of your sculptures, Jack Pierce,
Yeah,
right there.
that's correct. Yeah.
Yeah,
Actually.
just amazing. So, the third figure I should get is Jack Pierce working on Boris right here,
I
right?
think so. Yeah. Yeah. That'll be a nice one. Actually, you know what's interesting about this is that Jack Pierce's hands
Yeah.
are actually Rick Baker's hands.
Oh wow.
The 7-time Academy Award winning Rick Baker. In
Well,
my
Rick-
opinion, the greatest makeup artist that ever lived. Yeah.
Well, how did you get those hands?
I molded Rick's hands. I went over to his studio, and he's such a big fan of obviously of these creatures. He does base his career around them, and so I needed hands for Jack Pierce, and who better to get than the second Jack Pierce, if there ever was one.
Well, to me, the paint on the hands. Oh, James wants to run away. All right, we'll let James run away. He's going to do something with Jack over there. Get into some kind of mischief. Something's going to go wrong here. You know what's amazing is there are like 10. I don't know what's going on. That already happened.
I thought that was the monster.
That happened. Yeah, that
Machine
happened,
or man?
Well, that happened about 20 minutes ago. It's he's not. That's not what he's doing. It sounds like it. But his sounds of a car sound like he's.
Yeah, he mimics it.
Yeah, it's the same sound. Yeah. Anyway, I was impressed with just the paint job of the hands. I mean, it doesn't get any more realistic than that, Mike.
Oh,
It's
thanks.
just
Thank you.
fantastic.
That's another vintage watch as well,
Oh.
1920s watch.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had to get it right.
Good old eBay.
Right, I know, right? Yeah. Excuse not to work that day.
Yeah,
eBay,
just
yeah.
play on the computer.
Yeah.
Oh, and I forgot to say that I had a buddy of mine build this set, which we tried to make exactly like what's in the background here.
Which I'm very envious of, by the
Oh,
way.
good.
Yeah,
With the same
excellent.
mirrors, and also there were a lot of photographs taken this day. And
Right.
when the photographer moved a little bit counterclockwise and shot this direction, that exact radio was
There you
sitting
go.
there.
Fantastic.
So would this have been 1934, 33?
31.
31.
Well, 31 was this monster. This
Right.
was 35.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I don't know what Jack's doing down there. So, when did you move to the United States?
About 13 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kept getting a lot of work over here, so I finally decided this is where I should be.
So are Americans crazier with their money with this kind of stuff than the English?
They are crazy, yeah. There's not, when I first came to America, what was wonderful is seeing people walking around with the Boris Karloff t-shirts or the King Kong hoodies and
Right.
having these stores that are devoted and conventions devoted to monster stuff. It's catching on now back in England.
Right.
But back then I was just amazed by it that I could talk to people like yourself who understand why we adore this stuff. I mean, this is our sports stars.
Well,
these are religious figures. These are-
I must say that Matt and another buddy of ours, Jim, are the ones that introduced me to you and your work.
Oh,
Because
thank you,
they've
Matt.
gone to
Yeah.
Monsterpalooza and they said you got to see this, and they showed me a picture of
All right.
yeah, one of these, and I was like, oh, I've never seen anything like it. Absolutely
cool.
fantastic. So I'm heading to the UK to do
yeah?
some shows.
Oh, yeah.
When is that?
In like 2 weeks.
Yeah, in like 2 weeks. Heading to the UK, and I'm going all over the place.
all over the UK.
Would you like to know where?
I'll be in the UK in 2 weeks, and maybe I'll run into you.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, I've got to go to the IMAX makeup show. Actually, that magazine you just held up,
Right?
they do a makeup convention.
Yeah?
It's called.
What
an intro-
date?
It's the weekend of the 20th, is it?
Are you okay? On
Yeah.
the 20th, I'm going to be in Cardiff.
Oh, Cardiff.
Okay.
I'm going Cardiff the week after to see my son.
On the 21st, I'll be in Nottingham.
Right.
All right, no big deal. 22nd will be in Gateshead.
Okay.
Is it Gateshead or Goatshead?
That's Gateshead. Yeah.
Gateshead. People, but it's spelled with an O, right?
I don't know what you're looking at.
Well, okay, never mind. And then then we're going to be in Glasgow on the 23rd.
Glasgow. Yeah.
Yeah, and then the 25th and 26th in Belfast.
Brilliant. You
Yeah.
really are touring the UK. Yeah.
Yeah, and the Belfast, we're shooting a special.
No, it's in double.
Dublin.
Dublin, I mean.
You're doing Belfast first, and then we're going
Belfast
to
first,
Dublin.
then, I'm sorry. Yeah, Belfast is on the 25th, and shooting in Dublin on the 26th and 27th. Right. I knew that. Anyway, well, this is Mike. This is just fantastic, and I appreciate your work so much. Just another beautiful piece right there, and even the details like here down the elbows, and oh, just great. Really, really fun. So you could Google Elsa, and people pronounce it correctly, don't they?
Yeah, people say Elsa Lancaster, but it's actually Lanchester.
Lanchester, but it spells it's spelled Lancaster, right?
No, it's not.
Oh,
It's
CH?
Lanchester, yeah.
Okay.
But for some reason, people, I don't know, more proficient to use Lancaster.
Okay, but it's Lanchester. If you look her up, and Bride of Frankenstein, this is pretty much one of the poses you'll see.
Yes, and what's amazing is the Bride of Frankenstein is such an iconic monster,
Right.
one of the classic monsters, as you know.
Right.
But she's lived in the movie for what, 2 minutes, 3 minutes total?
Yeah.
In any of the movies. But she's such an iconic image, you know.
Right.
that
And then
Egyptian
typecast
hairstyle.
forever as that, right?
Yeah. Oh, she's actually married to Charles Laughton, who was the Hunchback of Notre Dame, so that's the good.
Oh,
Yeah, the 1940s version. 39, sorry.
is that all real hair?
Yes, yeah.
Wow,
That's individually punched. Well, most of it all around here is.
fantastic.
And
Well-
she had this irregular hairline just like this.
Right? And I never realized that the bolts went that way.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah, and people have a tendency to do them same on either side as well. No, this one was just over here, and this one was up on a temple.
Wow.
A lot wider than this side.
Never realized that.
Yeah.
Pretty great. Super. All right. Well, again, Mike, thank you very, very much.
Thank you,
Thanks for
Jack.
bringing her over and setting her up, and we're going to enjoy this. And what's really funny is the boys don't seem to care. It's really crazy. I guess there's enough strange characters around my house that they don't.
They're immune to it now, aren't they? You know?
Yeah, they are.
My sons were the same. They had no idea.
Right.
They thought every house looked like this.
Right.
What's up, Jack?
Does he still have food on his face?
Do you have food on your face, little man? Let me see what you got. You have
Yes,
food?
he does.
Can you give me a kiss? Aww, so sweet. All right. Well, Mike, again, thank you very, very much, and we'll see what happens next time.
Later, Jeff. Thanks.
All right, my friend.
Thanks, Matt.